So we talked about it a little bit, that you have this apple pear blend in your ciders. What else makes your cider unique, or how does that make your ciders unique?
Yeah, I think the apple pear blend, adding the pear kind of mellows out the cider, so it makes it really sessionable. And that's kind of our goal when making our cider, is always make a really sessionable drinking cider that's well balanced. Even though our name's Offset, our slogan is always balanced, so I don't know, they kind of contradict, but yeah, anyways, and then we use natural ingredients, so we're not using anything artificial. And for most of our ciders, we don't add sugar to it, so we just try and use the sugars from the fruit itself. And then also pear kind of has a natural sweetener called sorbitol that doesn't completely ferment out during the process, so it keeps a little bit of natural sweetener in the cider without having to back sweeten, which is why our off dry is an off dry. Yeah. And not just a bone dry or semi-sweet, and that's why we can say no added sugar. It's because of the pear and the sorbitol. That doesn't completely, it just keeps a little bit in there. So that's kind of unique in that sense. And but we do add a little bit of sugar to our cranberry spice. So, yeah,
because cranberries are pretty tart.
Yeah.
You mentioned the name Offset and like that they're off dry and that they're balanced and all of that. Well, how did you come up with the name?
Yeah, that's I try and live and promote a balanced lifestyle, like work hard, play hard, or like I enjoy craft beverages, but I enjoy going to the gym or going on hikes, So how do you offset your busy week? How do you find balance? And just like our ciders are balanced, we like to promote like a balanced lifestyle. So that's kind of where we got, how do you offset your busy week? How do you do it? How do you offset life? How do you find balance? And hopefully when you drink our cider, it tastes balanced.
Okay, I like it. So we're gonna kind of jump into the ciders. So how many ciders do you make? And then kind of like what's out right now that people could try?
Totally. We've made up to, in the last 3 years, we don't come out with a lot. And so, let's see, we've done off-dry, pink guava, plum, peach, cranberry spice.
I feel like you had a pineapple one in there at some point.
Yeah, we've done a bunch of one-offs.
Okay.
Those have been the ones on market. But yeah, I mean, I have like probably 20 different flavors that haven't even been released or anything.
Okay, that you have in the works that someday.
Yeah, that for like events we'll do one-offs. We'll do like a pineapple habanero or something like that, mojito.
Okay. But as far as packaged stuff, it's
I think it's just been about those 5. Yeah.
Okay.
And we're hoping to come out with more this year. It's kind of the goal.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we can talk about them. So let's talk about your flagship first, right?
Totally.
Is that your off-dry?
Yeah, the off-dry. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's our flagship, tried and true. I kind of call it like the Pilsner of ciders.
Okay.
So we got a little background noise.
This is what happens when you film inside of a pub.
Yeah, we're inside a pub. Yeah, before we're open. But anyways, so I call it like the Pilsner of ciders, and not in the sense of like it tastes like a Pilsner, but in terms of like it's just easy drinking, it's light and refreshing. Also for like beer people, I feel like a lot of people don't like, the cider's still kind of relatively, I don't want to say new, but the education isn't quite there as it is with beer. So to kind of, I think, connect the dots, I like to say that verbiage sometimes.
Okay.
But yeah, it's like I spoke about, the sorbitol makes it kind of unique and the pear. And it's just really, it's not a bone dry, it's not a semi-sweet, but it's like an off dry.
Okay.
So I think that's kind of unique and different. Most ciders you see on the market are either dry or semi-sweet. So
wow.
Should I say something? Hey.
I walked in and I was like,
Yeah, sorry, we're doing a little podcast. No, it's okay. Yeah. No, we're good. If we're in your way, just let us know. Oh, that'd be a good idea. Shit, I forgot about that.
you're good.
Thank you.
Okay, that'll do that.
Freaking Robert.
Just like, oh,
Yeah, I know. I'm like, dude, come on, man.
You're over here.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're talking about off dry. Do you want to try it?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's
Okay.
do the off dry.
I'm all about, tasting the cider.
Yeah, absolutely. Got it. Yeah, so depending on the time of year, it's like we get roughly maybe a combined total of like 8 different varietals. We use culinary apples and pears, which are like dessert apples and pears, which you can find in the store.
Okay.
Anything from Granny Granny Smith, Red Delicious, Pink Lady, you know. And then in terms of pear, like Bartlett, Boss, D'Anjou,
Okay.
a lot of them are kind of interchangeable. So it just kind of depends on what's available throughout the year.
Would you say that each like canning of it tastes pretty similar, or is it, or like, you know, there's some brands where like if you get their dry, it tastes the same every single time, or do you think that like throughout the year as it's being canned, like it's a little bit different just based on the varieties that are available?
Yeah, our goal is to try and make it as consistent as possible, but because it's an agricultural product, we're using natural ingredients. There is some nuances definitely between each batch, which I think just adds a little bit more value to it. And so I notice it. I don't know if like other people notice it, but I'll try a batch and I'll be like, oh, this one's a little bit
heavier on the Pink Lady.
Yeah, maybe a little bit more green apple, you know what I mean? Maybe a little bit less pear, right? Maybe more pear. Maybe you get some more sweetness that comes through the pear, you know? And it also depends on like, you know, how old, not old, but like, you know, obviously harvest is once a year. So sometimes they're using
cold storage
fruit from like, that was, you know, harvested last year. So like that also affects like, the flavor profile and stuff like that. So, but yeah, clean nose, light, refreshing, great color.
And it is like truly an off dry. Like you can taste the apple, you can taste a little bit of the pear. Yeah. It's very smooth finish. It's got that like bright crispness. Yeah. And then like when you were talking about you wanted to make a sessionable cider, this is completely sessionable. Totally. Like you could drink a few of these and not feel like you're being bogged down with like sugar, or like even sometimes they're not sugary, but like those fruity esters just like are in your mouth and you're like I feel like I consumed a lot of sugar.
Totally, yeah.
And so you don't get that. It's like that crisp, clean, bright, like. Yes. And I don't drink beer, so I don't know what a Pilsner is like. But I'm assuming.
They're light, they're crisp, they're refreshing. A lot of people will order Pilsners because they're sessionable. You can have multiples of them, right? You're not drinking like a heavy, like stout or like a really hoppy IPA. Yeah. And so that's kind of the idea with this. Just really drink maybe pub beer or pub cider. Drink it. Drink it at the pub, Churchkey Pub.
No, I like that it's so clean because I like all ciders. I will say, like I do like funky ciders. I like leathery. I like all of that. But sometimes you just want something that's crisp and clean and bright and. Like there's a cider for every occasion. Totally. And what type of occasion do you think would pair well with cider?
Every occasion. No. No.
I think of like beach days and like camping. And...
Well, that's definitely summer's like peak season is that time. But I don't know. I think this is one of my favorites, or if not the favorite, because you can drink it year round, which is kind of nice. Yeah. It's also if you kind of get bored or whatever, or you want to cross utilize it, you can use it in replacement of like a champagne. You won't get quite the bubbles, but you can do like a French 75 or Apple spritz or a mimosa. And it does it pairs really well. Yeah. And so I'd say like that's cool about the off dry. But I don't know. I think occasions definitely summer. If you're boating, if you're camping, if you're mowing the lawn. And that's kind of the idea. That's why we wanted to package our stuff and put it in 16 ounce, you know, in cans. So.
I was gonna ask because I feel like you started in bottles when you were doing it yourself. Like
that was just at the house.
Ago. And then you had 12 ounce cans. Do you still offer 12 ounces, or has everything
moved
into 16
there
now?
May some out in the wild. They should be.
I've a few. Like
Some of the OGs. You might want to hold on because I don't know if we're coming out with it anymore. But the plan. We switched from 12 ounce to 16 ounce. You know, there's a lot of reasons our retail sales weren't that great, you know, and so it was worth switching it up. I feel like the
not bars, but bottle shops and stuff, they want usually like 4-16 ounce.
Yeah, and that's the thing.
Because then they can sell them as singles.
Yes, the 16-ounce can's industry standard, and I knew that, but like I was doing a bunch of market research, and a lot of the research from Nielsen reports were just saying that the younger generation's consuming less alcohol and they wanted to share. So in my brain, I was like, 12-ounce cans are less alcohol, but you can share because you get 6 of them. So that was like my thought process.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of data kind of backing up that this 12-ounce cans were trending the right way.
Yeah.
But I think that's because a lot of it was led by big box companies, like the Two Towns and Seattle Ciders.
Where you buy like a multi-pack and
totally. So like, I don't know if it's necessarily catered towards like a young cider company startup. But that was the data I was looking at, and so anyways, that was a bad move on my part.
But you pivot and
I pivoted, and the 16-ounce cans have been helping us out a ton, and they've been great and received really well.
Yeah.
And so that was why we switched, just industry standard. Like, I was getting, and actually one of the bottle shops told me, yeah, people think you're a big box because you're in 12 ounce. I was like, whoa,
I think you're a bigger brand.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, that's crazy.
You're like, I gotta change it up, bud. You're like, I'm
like, no, we're small. You're like, support us, please. Yeah. So.
What's the ABV on like range on yours?
Yeah, typically from 6% to 6.5%.
Okay.
Kind of,
so
the
more
off-dry.
sessionable than some other ciders.
Yeah, the off-dry. We haven't done any imperials yet. I'd like to eventually.
Okay.
Baby steps. So yeah, the off-dry is 6.5. This is 6.5, and then this is like 6.1.
Okay.
So somewhere around there. Actually no, we do go down to what was the this is bad, I should probably know this, but I think the peach is like 4.5%.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's a sessionable one, and we released that for the first time this last summer. And it did really well. I was a little concerned because going to 16-ounce cans and having a low ABV, I didn't know how that would do. Because I feel like most ciders in 16-ounce are at least 6%.
Yeah.
Or higher, and so, but it was received really well. So I was like, oh, sweet.
Yeah. Well, you don't feel so bad finishing the 16-ounce by yourself when it's a lower ABV.
Totally.
You're like, I'll drink the whole thing.
And also, too, I mean, the reason for that is because we added so much peach juice from real peaches back into it after fermentation. And because peach is so mild, we had to use a lot.
Yeah.
And so this kind of goes back to like what we do is using natural ingredients. It's like, okay, we could just use a concentrate or whatever. And obviously that comes from natural ingredients, but would that save us money? Sure. Would that be a lot easier? Sure. Would that, but it's just like, I want someone when they drink it to be like, dang, this tastes like fresh peaches.
Juice. Yeah.
And so we didn't back sweeten with any sugar, just all peach juice.
Which means you have to add a lot of peach juice. Yeah. Which is going to lower your ABV, but I feel like in the summer, like, that's what people want. At least that's what I want.
Yeah.
Like, I'm trying to be on the beach or on the paddleboard all day. I don't want an imperial.
Yeah, it's nice that you're. Yeah, exactly.
I want to like be able to have a few and not be dangerous.
Yeah, I think it worked out. I was pretty happy. It's a little nerve-wracking anytime you release something and you think it'll be good, but you don't know.
Yeah, and you have to see what the public is gonna say about it. Like you can love it.
Yeah, like a sessionable low ABV 16-ounce can. I'm like, I don't typically see that in cider. You see it in beer. You see like a lager pilsner. Those are low ABV.
Yeah.
But like I don't typically see that in cider. So I was like, oh man, I hope people buy it.
We'll see what they think. Any funny stories from like being in this industry, like either from like making cider part or like the sales or events or anything, like something that stands out in your mind that you're like, oh my gosh, it was ridiculous. And maybe it wasn't funny in the moment that it happened, but looking back, you're like, okay, now it's funny.
Shoot, I mean, there's so many things that happen that are just like, you just shake your head and you're like, what the heck? I'm trying to think. That thing, you put me on the spot. There's like so many. It's been 3 years. It's not very long, but there's a lot of stuff that happens.
Of stuff that happens.
You're just like, it's a roller coaster. you know, Rocky and I had a good time. She was like, you know, getting acquainted with the pallet jack, and we were loading up some kegs, and she's such a good sport. But it was funny. I was kind of giving her a hard time because it was kind of like reminded me of like a Jackass video or something.
Okay.
Or, you know, I don't know, just like, or like I don't know if you've seen Austin Powers, but the scene where he's like going back and forth in the hallway, you know, and he's like backing up and then turning, backing up and turning.
And then he's just like,
yeah. And then it was kind of one of those scenarios. Yeah, it was one of those scenarios. So I was giving Rocky a hard time and she was laughing. There was a time where I was like washing my kegs, and the keg washer like captures like not all of, this is for like bigger cideries, and I wash my kegs at another cidery, and so anyways it collects all the stuff that gets dispersed, so they collect it and then they like treat it before it goes down the drain. And so anyways, but I was like washing a ton of kegs, and I didn't know this thing wasn't like empty before I started. And I was like washing kegs all day, all night, and like the bar was closing down, and like I like paid off the guy like, because he's like, I gotta close up and go. I'm like, I need to wash these now, like I have to get these done. I had like another like hour or two left before I was like done, and so like anyway, so I like bribed him, paid him some cash. I was like, I'll give you all the cash I have on me. And then I start cleaning again, and then this thing starts overflowing, and I'm like, is something like fermenting over, like what's going on? Like no one like told me or anything. So I'm like, what the heck? And then I like calling everyone, and this is like one of the first times I'm like doing keg washing there, and it is so embarrassing because it's like laid out and stuff. Anyways, and so then just like everything's all over the ground. I'm like squeegeeing. I'm like, and I didn't eat all day. I was exhausted. I was tired. I was sweaty. I was gross. I was covered in crap, and the whole thing was just a nightmare. I got like a lot of stories like that. Yeah.
Or you like just circumstances did not work in your favor.
This is the worst. And then looking back, it's really funny. But yeah, in the moment, you're like, this is not cool.
And now, do you always check that the filter thing is empty before?
Yeah.
It teaches you a lesson.
I learned the hard way. Yeah.
Have you tried to make any flavors that just like did not work? Like, or
well, I mean, that first one I tried, we're just taking Costco frozen fruit and throwing it in there. I mean, it might have worked, but I didn't know what I was doing. So I probably just didn't do something right. I don't know. There's been a lot. That's a good question. I'm trying to think. I think I tried to do like a root beer one where I like use all the like ingredients in root beer, but not like just taking root beer and throwing it in there. You know what I mean? Yeah. But it didn't. Maybe there's some potential there, but like I tried it once and I was like, I don't know if this is very good.
You're like, I don't want to spend my time trying to figure this out.
Totally. Yeah, there's been a handful of those. I'm trying to think what else has been not very good. I can't think.
Yeah, that's
sorry.
I feel like root beer and apple, like those flavors might not go together.
No, but I mean,
you've got to
I do some crazy stuff that you wouldn't think would go well, and it's like really good.
Okay, give us an example.
Okay.
You can't just say it.
Okay, well, the horchata.
It's
really good, and it's not out on the market, and hopefully this year I want to release it at some point. I don't know when.
Has it been kind of like one-offs that you've made it?
One-offs, one-offs for like our anniversary party, or like pretty much only we'll do that, and then I'll have some leftover, and then I'll sell it to like a bar like here at Churchkey.
Okay.
And so like very few people know about it, but they like once they find out, they're like, we need it, I want it, we need it. And so, but horchata just in cider just sounds really weird. Yeah. But it's really good. Yeah.
And horchata is like cinnamon and
it's like a Hispanic
Hispanic
drink. It's rice, cinnamon, bunch of spices. And I think they add sugar and stuff like that. I don't know if they add vanilla. But it's like it's kind of like a dessert. Yeah. And so I made a cider with that, using my own herbs and spices, not just buying horchata and throwing it in there, and using rice milk.
Horchata inspired.
Horchata inspired, and I use rice milk, or I did. I don't know if that translates to doing a big production run because the rice milk's really expensive. So that's like something I need to figure out.
Yeah.
And,
rice milk is actually fairly easy to make, and I think it would be way cheaper to make rice milk than to buy rice milk. If you wanted to,
but then you have to like
take the time.
But then you have to get rid of the spent rice.
I think you just blend it all together. From what
and then you strain it, don't you, through like a cheese strainer?
Yeah.
And then you have all that. Yeah, it's kind of like brewing. I feel like brewing beer. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I tried to make it at my house and it was okay, but it took me way longer than I thought. And then it also made a complete mess.
So you're like, this is not.
And I was like, if I were to do this on a large scale, I was like, I don't know. So. Maybe again, there's one time. Maybe I should give it another go.
Maybe you gotta workshop that one.
Yeah, so we're trying to. I can do like a small batch. I haven't like figured out how to do large scale.
Okay.
There's a few other things as well, but yeah.
Okay, I like it. So we tried the flagship, the off dry. And you said it's a blend of apples and pears. Do you have a favorite apple? Like either for eating or for like if you could make a single varietal. Like, what would you do? What do you like?
I actually really like I like using I like the red flesh varietals. And I haven't used a ton of them, but the ones I have used, I think they're just really fascinating because I use it to make a rosé, which I'd like to make at some point. And but I do it a little bit different. I've seen people just kind of use it as a single varietal, which is fine. Again, that's not really my cup of tea.
Yeah.
So I like to cut it with something or blend it with other stuff.
Yeah.
Other varietals, but what I do like about it is it's really unique in the sense that it gives a cider or the color like some berry colors, and it also lends some like berry, depending on what varietal you're using, but it can lend some like berry notes as well, like as if you're drinking like a wine rosé, and it's really fascinating. And I like blew my mind when I used it because I was like, this tastes like a wine rosé. Yeah. You know what I mean? And it comes from apples, and we're not using any kind of wine or berries or anything.
Yeah.
And so that to me was like, I was like, yeah.
It's crazy as I learn more about apples that like certain varieties can have those like tasty notes that you wouldn't expect an apple to have. Like,
never.
Like cranberry and cherry and all that, or like the spices that come from apples. And you're like, this is an apple, like an eating apple. Not all of them you would want to eat.
Totally.
But they can have these kind of flavors. And you're like, this is fruit is crazy.
No, it is crazy. And I'm still learning. So like, I'm probably not the guy to ask, but with my little experience, that's the one that like blew my mind. Yeah. And I was like, holy crap, this is pretty cool. I didn't know apples could do that.
Yeah. And apples are amazing.
Yeah.
Speaking of like the experience that you've gained from this, what advice would you have for someone who wants to work in cider or open their own cidery? Like, what have you learned?
Man, I've learned a lot. I think the best thing to do, whether you're getting into want to open your own cidery or any business, is just getting experience at another business that you want, like in that industry. Getting experience in the industry first, and then thinking about doing your own thing. Because working at a production, like I worked at Two Beers, worked at Sales Cider, worked at like Locust for a very small stint. Even that gave me a good glimpse into like how people do things, and so I would say get experience first, and then put it down on paper. Like take the time to like really think through these things, do market research, like do a business plan. It's not fun, it's hard, it takes time. Everyone wants to just go and jump in, and that's sometimes that works. But in an industry like cider, where the barriers to entry are pretty high in terms of like startup capital, and cost of goods, and everything is just really expensive. I don't think that's a good industry necessarily, in my opinion, to just jump into without any experience. I think gaining some experience, or if you can like learn from someone, maybe you have like a mentor, but just getting experience and maybe having a mentor and some guidance really helps, or people that you know in the industry. That's what I do. I got experience, and then I never felt like I knew everything, but I was like, I feel like I know enough to at least do like the production stuff.
Yeah. And then fumble your way through the rest and learn.
I didn't know sales though. I didn't know bookkeeping. I didn't know any of that. So you gotta learn, and it's stressful. And being an entrepreneur, it's really frustrating in a lot of ways because it like shows all your weaknesses and it shows where you're not good at, but you still have to do them. And so you're inefficient. You're like pissed off at yourself because you're like, I'm so stupid, I can't do this. And so it's just really challenging in that sense. But like anything else, you learn and you grow, and then you're like, oh, okay, what used to be hard last year isn't hard this year. Yeah. And so I would say that just make sure you have a clear vision and plan, and then it does take money. So I don't know, you can either nowadays it's kind of hard to get a loan, but you could go the bank route. You could, if you have your own money, that's great, or you could raise capital like I did because I was a broke bartender. Yeah. So I didn't have any money.
Especially if you want to hit the ground with like enough product to sell. You know, like the starting from in your own space and trying to build up, that can take years and
you
years
need momentum.
Years.
You need momentum.
And that can provide
so that is how we were able to do it, because I took the time to like build a solid foundation. But then again, like once we opened, like after I've pivoted so many times, so it's not like you're just gonna follow that plan and everything's gonna go perfect. And maybe what was in the plan was a good idea at the time, but isn't now.
Things change.
I mean, my cost for pears when I started the business plan in 2018. The cost of pears were cheaper than apples, and now they're like double the price. And I'm like,
I know that I built this on
apples
and pears,
I know.
but maybe we need to pivot on that.
I know. I'm like, is there a pear alternative that we could use? So it kind of, I was like, thought I was such a genius. I was like, oh, this is a great idea. And then now it completely backfired, and now like all my cost of goods are probably higher than most dry ciders out there because we're using the pears, and they're like a premium right now, and I'm like, gosh, this sucks.
Oh my goodness. Thinking of cider as like an industry, what's your vision or hope for cider?
I hope it just keeps growing and the education keeps growing. I think it's awesome, all the new cideries that are coming out. I feel like there's more small craft cideries opening now than there ever have been, at least in this like resurgence of craft cider. And so like I'd love to see that, and I'd love to just see innovation, and I would also like to see this, and I haven't done this yet, so maybe I'm a hypocrite, but I'd like to see like collabs, in craft cider.
Oh, okay, like between cideries, or
Okay. Or even like maybe I know Bottle Works as a cool bottle shop in Seattle. They do a bunch of collabs with like breweries.
Okay.
Where they like get to come on and they get to be a part of the brew process and like come up with like different ideas of like what beer we should make for this collab. And then they release it, and it's really cool. And then that's a pretty big thing in breweries as well. It's like you see your favorite breweries making this like awesome beer. And I think that'd be really cool to do with cideries. So that's something I'd like to see. I haven't done it yet, so I'm being a hypocrite, but.
Well, maybe that you need to like jumpstart. I know that there's some, like I know Yonder does a lot of collaborations, and I've seen some.
They do,
other collaborations.
That's true.
Peaks and Pints down in Tacoma, they always do either collaboration beer or collaboration cider, and they have it on tap, and it's like their house cider, their house beer. So something like that.
Yes,
I mean,
exactly.
Maybe you need to pair up with Churchkey.
I know.
And make a collaboration cider that they have, and that's just for here.
Exactly.
You could make like an Irish style cider?
Yeah, it could probably be maybe a little bit like sweeter.
I don't know. We're just
totally ideas. But that's something I'd like to see. But it is happening, not to say it's not.
But just more across
I think
the
more
board, like
across
you see it in beer.
Exactly.
And I think when you do those collaborations, it really does like lift everybody up.
Totally.
It's like one of those things where like our audiences can mesh and find something that they both enjoy, and
I think it creates hype, and I think the consumers get excited about it. I know when if I see like my top favorite cideries or breweries or whatever on one bottle, I'm like, dude, I got to try.
Like I have to try.
This. Like I don't even like this Imperial Sour farm aged barrel. But it has my favorite brewery, so I'm gonna try it.
I like it. Speaking of your favorites, Who makes a cider you wish you made?
Oh, who makes the cider that I wish I made?
Yeah, like who makes a cider that you're like, if Offset made this, or if I could just make it, like maybe it doesn't go with your brand and like your vision for kind of like the more modern off-dry ciders, but like who makes one that you're like, I wish I had made that cider because it's delicious.
That's a good question. That's a good question. I really like, I don't know if there's one that's sticking out right now in my head. I really like sea ciders.
Up in BC,
yeah,
in Victoria.
Yeah, like whenever I try theirs, and I just think it's just so well done, and some of them can be higher ABV and stuff, and it's a little bit higher price point in a bigger bottle, but it's kind of, I don't know, I think it's cool, and it's kind of like the wine vibe a little bit.
Yeah, like special occasion ciders.
Totally. When I drink theirs, I'm like, damn, this is good.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't know if there's one. I honestly, this may sound bad. I don't really know a lot of what a lot of people are doing.
Okay.
Because I don't want too much outside influence. I kind of want to just come up with ideas and do them.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Like, you don't want to be drinking a bunch of other people's stuff and then have it influence what you're making.
Totally.
And so you're like drinking your own stuff and drinking beer.
Yeah. I like beer. Yeah, I like beer. Well, nowadays not so much. I mean, I do like it, but I'll do like one, and it's catching up to me. So I stick with the cider.
I'm like, I turned 40 this year, and I'm like, I can drink like one drink. And I'm done. Like, that's it. That's
you did turn, or you are turning?
I did. I already
congratulations.
last year because we're in a new year.
Yeah, congratulations.
Yeah, it's a big birthday, and I'm like, I'm old.
I'm right.
Like, my knees hurt. Like,
I'm right behind you. I'm turning 40 next year. I guess this year. Yeah, it's so confusing. Okay, it's 2026. So in December of 2026, that basically a year from now. Yeah, I'm turning 40.
Yeah.
I went on a run yesterday, and I was dying, and my body hurts. So I'm like, this is pathetic. But
yeah. Like, I gotta build back.
Yeah. So anyway, so I drink cider, not so much beer now, but I do enjoy beer. But it catches up to me.
Oh my! It all catches up. Okay, I just have a few more questions for you. So what's next for Offset? Like, what do you have coming up that you're excited about, or what do you want to be next, other than collaborations?
Yeah. A goal of mine is for us to start, like, stop using other people's facilities and doing it ourselves. And in opening like a tasting room, those are some big goals of mine. I don't know when that's going to happen, but that's something I'm always working towards. Just to have a little bit more control and autonomy over what we're doing and what flavors we're coming out with and all that. And really just allowing us to like spread our wings, essentially.
Yeah.
So that's something I really want to do and work towards. And then I think just coming out with like more flavors this year. Our first year we only had off-dry. Second year we just had 2 flavors, off-dry and pink guava. And then the third year the most we've come out with were I think what we do? We had last year we had like plum, we have off-dry plum, and then we came out with peach and cranberry spice. And so this year I'm hoping to come out with more than that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are you thinking they'll be like seasonals, kind of? Like
with
some seasonals
because shelf space is pretty hard to like get it and hold.
Yeah.
And you're typically allowed like 1 or 2 spots.
Okay. So off-dry will be kind of like your one that's always there.
Yeah.
And then a seasonal.
And then rotate the seasonal, So like the cranberry spice was like our fall winter, still available, but we'll probably end it like after January. And then this one's going to be taken over in January, plum, and then we always have that off dry. So yeah.
Nice. Any myths you want to dispel about cider?
It doesn't always have to be super sugary or fake tasting. I think that's still a huge myth. I mean, I get that all the time. I don't like cider, it's way too sweet, or I don't like cider, it's just, I get a headache, or blah blah blah, and it's just like, and then I've seen it in first person doing events, like at beer events, and I'm like, here, just give it a try. I think you'll like this. I'm a beer guy, trust me, you'll like this. Oops, sorry. And so and they try it, and then they keep coming back.
Yeah.
And so they're like, okay, see,
changing people's minds,
totally,
one person at a time.
Yeah, doing big things here. Yeah, Offset. I think that's like a myth. But that just comes with time and education and more cideries opening up and creating and making new stuff, you know? I think it'll happen eventually, but
I think so too. I think it's going to take some time to get everyone on board.
Yeah.
But I mean, I've been doing this for 6 years now. So this will be my 7th year. And I remember when I first started, I know, it's crazy. Awesome. When I first started, like, all my friends were wine drinkers or beer drinkers or like not spritzers, but like
seltzers.
Before seltzers even came out, like the Mike's Hard Lemonade, those stuff, like totally. The whatever. And like all of my friend group now, with like ciders, what they reach for. Like when we come
awesome.
together, like there's a couple that'll still bring a bottle of wine, but like people are like, I saw the cider and I haven't had it, so I thought we could all try it. Like they've just realized that it's so many different things, and they all like different things. Like I'll bring a ginger cider for my one friend because that's what she likes, and then I'll bring a dry cider for my other friend, and then I have some friends that like the funky stuff, but not everyone. So like there's something in cider for everyone.
Totally.
And once people start to realize that, they're like, it's such a nuanced beverage that you don't realize that if you just think it's a sweet cider.
I feel like you're ahead of the game.
I'm working on it.
Yeah.
I'm working on it. I've been drinking cider since when I lived in France for a while when I was in college.
Oh, that's
and like, so I've, the last 20 years. Oh my gosh.
Wow.
I've been drinking cider for 20 years, and in that 20 years, probably the last like 10, it started to like really like where you can find more, and like craft ciders.
Yeah.
Are starting to be more prevalent. Okay, I've got 2 last questions for you. The first one is, what do you dislike about working in cider? Like, what is the part of your job that you hate and you wish you could just like either not have to do, magic wand, or like push off on somebody else?
Yeah, I think it's probably a little different for me because I wear a lot of hats, so it's like I'm not just like the cider maker or the sales rep, but I think what I dislike is like just all the kind of legalities and stuff, or all the red tape you have to jump through, or this fruited cider can't be carbonated as high, or
those
you
rules
get
and
taxed more. Yeah, you're just like, what? Why? Like, what's the? You know what I mean?
Because somebody who doesn't drink cider like checked the box and was like, if it's about this percentage.
Totally. Yeah. Yeah, I know. I'm like, oh, why is this one not as carb? You're like, well, legally I'm not supposed to, or I can't. And so it's just like. And the consumer doesn't know that, so I don't know, it's just kind of like frustrating. That's really frustrating. I think it seems really hard to like get something up and running and going. You know what I mean? And it's just like, you definitely get support. There's a lot of like you doing this helps a lot. Pacific, the P&W Cider Association, and all that stuff. They do a great job, but in terms of like get a cidery off the ground and running, it's really hard, and it's like, for example, like not getting into politics or anything, but before before the new administration, like I was able to like be able to get a loan from the bank, and then now it's like really hard for me to do that, and obviously my numbers change too, so it's not always just that, but like or even before I was up and running, there was like an incentive, there was like a program where you could get a grant for like $50,000 if you could prove that you're doing business but making under a certain amount before you started. But I wasn't up and running, and my CPA was like, dude, are you ready, are you up and running, we could get this is money, this is And so there's like cool things like that were set up, and it's like I just don't see that anymore, and that'd be like super helpful. And maybe I'm not looking hard enough. I'm gonna be honest, like I'm not out there actively seeking like what's available, what's not. So that could totally be me, and I probably should. I'm pulled a lot of different directions, and so anyways. But yeah, I'd say I felt like there's more. It seemed like there's some resources out there that were able to help small businesses, and I'm just not really seeing that now. And the cost of goods are extremely high right now. which is really challenging. So I don't like that. So yeah, I think I would just say that.
I like it. So on the flip side, what do you love about your job? Like, what's the thing that gets you out of bed in the morning that you're like, this is why I do this?
I think it's just having an idea and seeing it come to life and seeing people drink it and order it is really cool. When I'm out in the wild and I see someone and I don't know them, or I was like driving the other day and I saw this girl like running and she had like an Offset crew neck on, like an old school one. And I was like, I did like a double take. I was like, what? And then I was like, I don't even know that person. That's awesome, you know.
Like that somebody likes your brand enough.
Totally.
To wear
Totally. And maybe it's their workout shirt that they only, wear, when they're getting it all going.
Free advertising as they're running around.
But I think that's really cool. And just like having like an outlet for like I do have like a creative side and I like to create things. Whether it's like marketing material or stupid videos that I do with Rocky.
You know what? I love your guys' videos. Like some of them are just hilarious.
We're trying to try some different stuff. We're like, I don't know, this is either gonna hit or not. So far they've been doing okay, so we might keep on this goofy trend that we're doing.
I think people like to see like the real people behind businesses.
Totally.
And not just like, here's our product, here's our product. But it's like the relationship that you guys have built, like this friendship / workship of like, and just being goofy together. And being like, hey, what are you doing? What are you doing? That stuff is good.
Yeah, okay, cool. That's good. I think so. We think we're like kind of funny, low-key, but then like we won't get a lot of like views or likes. We're like, oh, so no one else. That's right.
You got to do it for you.
No, I know.
To our 7 listeners out here, thank you so much.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not, you're not doing it for other people, you're doing it for yourself.
No, totally.
And if other people like what you're doing,
totally.
that's great.
Totally.
Right?
Yeah, and I don't know how things work or don't work in this, I feel like social media has changed since I started. I'm sure for you.
Yeah.
Like, so we're like, we're gonna be goofy.
Do the thing that brings you joy.
Yeah, but I love creating an idea, getting it in something tangible, and just seeing it out in the market.
Yeah,
it really is exciting. And hearing people's feedback, they're like, oh, this is just so good. I love this. Oh my gosh, where can I get this like that? To me, it's like makes it worth it.
I love it. That's actually my final question: is where can people find you? Like website, social media, distribution area. A quick rundown of that.
Yeah, so we do all self-distro, so we're kind of scattered everywhere, and we don't cover a large territory, but we do go up to Bellingham, we do go down to Puyallup, we go over to Port Townsend, and we go on the east side, like I don't know what's over there, Redmond. Okay. So that's kind of like our territory. You can find us in a bunch of bottle shops, most bottle shops, a lot of bars in Ballard and Edmonds. But the best place to find us is on either our Instagram. We have a cider finder link in our bio. Okay. And I update that quarterly. And it just has a map, a Google Map, so where you can find us. And that's also on.
You're just dropping pins as you drop stuff off. Love it.
That's also you can find that same link on our website at offsetciderworks.com. Okay. And it's a Find Us tab at the top right. Okay. And that will also bring up the same link. And so that's probably the best way to go about it. Or keep track of like our stories. When we come out with a new release, we try and post all the places that we're releasing it. So the best way is probably just follow us on social media and then just keep tabs. I know that's annoying. We'd like to get on with the distributor eventually, which would then allow us to be in like a lot of the staples like QOC and stuff like that. But we are in a few Hagens, we're in like one PCC, we're in all the Total Wines except for Spokane and Vancouver. And then a bunch of bars and stuff like that.
I mean, that's a pretty good footprint for a small, like 2-person operation. I mean, and then your Instagram is just Offset Ciderworks. Like search for that and we'll find it.
Offset Ciderworks. Yep. Okay. That's our Instagram. So
there we go. I think that pouring of ice is that this is done. And I want to thank
they're trying to open the bar.
Well, thank you so much for coming on today. I really appreciate it.
Thanks, Ava. Appreciate it. Yeah. Cheers.
Cheers.